Tokyo doesn't ease you in. It just throws you headfirst into the sensory deep end and then shrugs like ganbatte. If you've ever dreamed of being overwhelmed by flashing signs, perfectly silent trains, impossibly cute snacks, and a science museum that low-key melted your brain, congrats, you're in the right place. From Mount Fuji at her most photogenic to filming a slightly famous slab of Tokyo infrastructure, Tokyo really does cover the full emotional range. So let's jump in, because editing this was the only way to remember what actually happened. We took the Shinkansen from Nagoya to Tokyo, because why crawl through traffic when you can zip across half the country at 300 kilometers an hour, all with a vending machine on board. There's something oddly calming about watching the countryside blur past while sipping canned coffee and pretending you're in a very efficient travel montage. It was the calm before the Tokyo-level chaos kicked in. Shibuya hits like a caffeine rush with LED lights. It's loud, it's fast, and everything's blinking at you, including the traffic. We wandered into Shibuya Crossing because apparently it's a rite of passage now. Hundreds of people crossing from every direction at once, and somehow no one gets pancaked. It's like watching a human Roomba simulation. It's dramatic, it's iconic, and yes, we crossed it more than once just for the footage. Just one train stop away, Takeshita Street in Harajuku cranks the chaos up another level and dips it in glitter. If Shibuya was loud, this place is straight up yelling at you. Pastel everything, and outfits that made us seriously question whether we've been dressing wrong our entire lives. It's worth walking through just to say, well, that was an experience, and then immediately Google what half of it meant. After surviving Takeshita Street, with our ears still ringing and our dignity slightly compromised, we decided it was time for something quieter, like aggressively quieter. So we headed to Shinjuku Gyoen National Garden, where no one is yelling, nothing sparkles, and the only thing overstimulating is a flower arrangement. This place is massive, part traditional Japanese garden, part manicured European park, and part please don't speak above a whisper. We happened to visit during the chrysanthemum exhibit, which felt less like a flower show and more like a competitive display of botanical perfection. Some of these blooms were so flawless they looked like they had a team of stylists backstage. We're not saying they were judging us, but we definitely adjusted our posture walking past them. It's all Zen garden serenity, and then there's us, aggressively trying to film flowers like they owe us money. It was peaceful, refined, and beautifully designed, and we were none of those things. But we managed not to scare any elderly couples, so we're counting it as a win. Shinjuku feels like Tokyo decided to build upward, sideways, and diagonally all at the same time. It's the kind of place where you can get lost in a shopping mall that's technically underground, above ground, and somehow 12 floors tall. We wandered through in the way most people do, with vague confidence and absolutely no idea where we were going. At some point, we accidentally found ourselves in the red light district, which was informative and unexpectedly well lit. Eventually, we made our way to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building. And yes, it's a government office, but it also happens to have one of the best observation decks in the city, and it's free. We went at night, which meant no Mount Fuji on the horizon, but the city lights more than made up for it. Endless towers, glowing intersections, and a skyline that just keeps going. Like a circuit board designed by someone who really wanted you to feel small. It also gave us a great bird's eye view of all the places we had no intention of walking to, which at that point in the day felt like an absolute win. Akihabara is what happens when the internet becomes self-aware and builds itself a neighborhood. It's loud, it's blinking, and it's got more screens per square meter than a Best Buy on Black Friday. This is the epicenter of anime, gaming, and electronic everything. We didn't go inside any cafes featuring cats, maids, or anything that talks back, but we did track down a very specific stretch of street here. Yes, we went full film nerd, like two people pretending we weren't deeply invested in a 20-year-old movie reference. If you get the reference, congratulations, you're one of us. If you don't, that's between you and your Netflix queue. Akihabara is the kind of place where your senses short-circuit a little. Between the flashing signs, looping theme songs, and machines trying to convince you to win a plush octopus, it's like your brain just gives up. We stayed just long enough to start questioning what reality is, and then wisely decided it was time to move on. Hi.
You saying hello to them or to me?
I'm saying hello to them, not to you.
Okay.
I see you every day. I don't see them all the time.
This is true. Where are we today?
Kamakura. Kamakura is a coastal town about an hour south of Tokyo, known for its deep historical roots and laid-back atmosphere. It was once Japan's political capital in the 12th century, and today it's packed with temples, shrines, and hiking trails tucked into the surrounding hills. But we didn't explore all of that. We came for one reason. There's a great Buddha here, just behind us, over there, with a million people in front of it. The Great Buddha, and honestly, that alone was worth the trip. This towering bronze statue stands over 13 meters tall and has been sitting outdoors since the 1200s. It originally had a temple hall built around it, but that was wiped out by a tsunami centuries ago. The statue remained unmoved, exposed to the elements, and somehow even more impressive because of it. You can walk right up to it, sit on the surrounding steps, and even go inside the hollow statue to see how it was constructed. Despite the number of visitors, the space still feels calm and reflective, like it knows you've come a long way to stand in its presence. There's some really big slippers over there, like shoes that are supposed to be the Great Buddha's shoes, too. They're hanging on the wall. I'm not kidding. They're over there. They're hanging on the wall.
No, but I'm incredibly impressed. This was definitely worth coming to.
Yeah.
And I've got to be honest, I was a little nervous when they said Kamakura is like the mini Kyoto. I thought it was going to be dripping in tourists.
There's a lot of people here, but it's not dripping in them.
You can get a clear shot if you want a photo of the Buddha without people in. You can definitely head out this way if you're down this way.
Well, if you're down this way, then you wouldn't need to head out this way, would you? You're already here.
Inside voice.
Don't worry, it's okay.
Can you see my eyes rolling behind these shades?
If you've explored more of Kamakura and think we seriously missed out, hit the comments and tell us what to do next time. Bonus points if it involves snacks or a secret viewpoint. Just off the coast near Kamakura is Enoshima, a tiny island connected by a pedestrian bridge and packed with enough shrines, sea views, and scenic staircases to count as cardio. Once you cross over, it turns into a full-on coastal adventure. Winding paths, souvenir stalls, unexpected shrines, and way more stairs than you signed up for. It's part spiritual trail, part snack run, part accidental leg day. The air smells like salt and seafood, and every alley has a slightly magical vibe, like you've wandered into a coastal side quest. At the top of the island, the view is worth every stare. You get a full panoramic of the Pacific, and if the skies are clear, Mount Fuji shows up in the distance like she's doing a casual cameo. We made it all the way up to the Enoshima Sea Candle, the lighthouse at the top of the island, but we drew the line at climbing even more stairs. Instead, we wandered through the gardens, which were beautifully maintained and required zero additional effort. At the far end of the island, past all the snack stalls and scenic viewpoints, is where things get a little damp. Carved into the cliffs overlooking Sagami Bay are the Iwaya Caves, a site that's been considered sacred for over 1,000 years. These caves have long been associated with religious worship, sea dragons, and spiritual retreats, and you can explore them with the help of a handheld wax candle, because nothing says safety first like navigating slippery stone tunnels with open flame. There are 2 main chambers connected by a low tunnel, and while the walkthrough is short, the caves are strangely atmospheric. The waves echo through the stone, the air gets cooler, and there's just enough mystery to make you feel like the island is holding its breath. We couldn't come all the way to Japan and not give Mount Fuji a proper moment. It's basically in the contract. We started our walk from Kawaguchiko Station and followed the path around the lake, which, spoiler, is a lot bigger than it looks on a map. But Fuji showed up for us in full form. Clear skies, not a single cloud, just standing there like she was waiting for a magazine shoot. Every few steps gave us a new dramatic angle, sometimes framed by trees, sometimes by ducks, sometimes by a stray boat that definitely wasn't part of the aesthetic, but made it into the shot anyway. The path around the lake is quiet, peaceful, and weirdly photogenic from all directions. We kept walking, mostly because every time we tried to stop, Fuji looked even better from the next spot. Honestly, it started to feel personal. What's that behind us?
That over there. It's almost like a cartoon mountain. It's so clear today. You can see every line and outline of it. Even the bits where it went...
Not recently went...
No, like...
1707?
So, fingers crossed we'll get out of here okay.
I think we'd feel a bit of a rumble if it was going to go in a minute.
It is truly stunning, and we got a perfect day for it. We did plan this well in advance, and there is a website which gives you the exact weather on the day.
Make sure you're checking for the base and not the summit.
It's always sunny at the top.
Don't go to the Mount Fuji stop, go to the Kawaguchiko stop, because the Mount Fuji stop isn't weirdly at Mount Fuji. We're on the opposite side of Lake Kawaguchiko.
Mm-hmm.
I think I pronounced that correctly.
You did?
There's a bunch of hotels on this side of the lake. There's like a little walkway down by the lake at the bottom, and you can just sit in front, have a picnic lunch or something.
This is the view from our lunch right now.
Yeah.
We actually turned and faced Mount
Watching
Fuji.
that thing. Yeah. I wasn't watching the road.
Yeah.
We're gonna go climb it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna go climb the summit. I'm wearing my sneakers.
You got the bear bells?
I got the bear bells. And, I think we're good. There might be some polar bears at the top. If you're planning to go, just remember, Fuji is notoriously shy. So if you ever get a day this clear, don't waste it. Cancel your plans, reschedule your life, because a full unobstructed view of Mount Fuji, that's not something you risk missing. Tokyo has plenty of museums, but Miraikan, the National Museum of Emerging Science and Innovation, is in its own category. This is space travel, AI, robotics, and mild existential dread, all in one sleek glass building. It's on Odaiba, a man-made island you reach by hopping on the Yurikamomi line, a driverless train that glides through the skyline like it's auditioning for a sci-fi movie. One of the first things you'll see is a giant glowing Earth hanging in the atrium. It's made of thousands of LED screens and shows real-time satellite data. You can sit underneath it, zone out, and pretend you're absolutely fine. We spent the whole day there and barely made a dent. Some exhibits are hands-on, some feel oddly personal, and at least one will have you questioning your relationship with your toaster. Miraikan's worth every single penny. We love Tokyo, but by the end of this trip, our legs had staged a quiet rebellion. Our camera batteries were begging for mercy, and if one more vending machine tried to sell us a mystery corn soup in a can, we might have just snapped. We didn't make it to everything. You won't. You simply can't. But at a certain point, you just have to accept that Tokyo is infinite and you, sadly, are not. So if you've got recommendations for the next time we accidentally overschedule our lives file, drop them in the comments, preferably low-effort ones with snacks. If this video helped, made you laugh, or just made you feel better about being travel tired, give it a like, maybe a subscribe, and consider sending us some orthopedic insoles. Until next time, may your trains be on time and your vending machines slightly less unhinged.